The Simpsons has been on longer than, statistically, most people have been alive. The show's been on for so long that it's reached the point where it feels like almost every joke imaginable has been done at one point or another on the show.
Simpsons did it! Simpsons did it!
But it seems like anymore when you look at some of the gags or jokes within the show, some of the jokes they made about the future have ended up coming true. After all, a broken clock is right at least twice a day, and this broken clock has had its fair share of accurate predictions. From predicting smartwatches nearly 20 years in advance to vaulty voting machines, Olympic Games victories, why haven't we all just dropped everything we're doing to go binge watch all 700 plus episodes so we can become omnipotent as well? Well, before you go rot your brain out with over 15 straight days of comedy, hold your horses. There's much more to this situation than meets the eye. Let's get into the reality of the Simpsons predictions. First off, we have to put into consideration the sheer amount of predictions The Simpsons tends to put out in just a single episode, coupled with the fact that typically what a viewer sees as a prediction was just the writer's intention of a joke. Also, we need to put into account the sheer amount of outlandish claims brought forth by the show that haven't happened.
Willie Nelson will astound his fans by swimming the English Channel.
Really? Willie Nelson?
And going off of his age, probably aren't super likely to happen at any point. Just going off of statistics alone, The Simpsons has way more misses than hits. Like an absolutely insane amount of misses. The smartwatch thing was made at a time when technology was booming as people's imaginations were going wild with endless possibilities. While we might not have reached the time of flying cars, at least not yet, we still have many portable devices and music cassette players. Does anyone watching this even know what a cassette is? Are they coming back around again? Oh god. So it was safe to assume the logical next step would be for technology to reach a point where it could fit on your wrist effortlessly. But the writers still had to turn it into a joke and fully portray the outlandish appeal of it. After all, it's still their job to make fun of everything. If it's just a room full of clever people writing educated guesses as jokes, there are other, arguably better, shows on air that can also make similar types of predictions and have a higher chance of getting it right. But the biggest thing that The Simpsons had going for it that many of these other shows didn't was simply time, in a lot of it. The Simpsons has been on the show for 34 years as of 2022. As I said earlier, there's a very real chance that the show is older than most people watching this video, which isn't a claim most animated shows can boast given how quickly they get canceled these days. Hashtag bring back Tuca and Birdie. And as of late, you'd be lucky if your favorite show gets to the end of its second season if Netflix has anything to say about it. I was told to put a hashtag save warrior nun in here. Whereas shows like South Park have also had successful predictions, like that time they made an episode about an Ebola outbreak the same week that a new strain of Ebola was discovered. But obviously these shows are incredibly different styles of comedy and writing, with South Park typically aiming for shock value. Drifting back around to the main point, The Simpsons does have another arsenal in its kit, amongst the vast variety of others to aid in its omnipotent prediction skills. Yeah, really, the show was made while both the cultural and social landscapes of the world were changing. New, wild, and crazy fads and technology were popping in and out of existence every day. Many cultural icons were at the height of their career. We witnessed pop culture itself come out of its primordial ooze and evolve before our very eyes. The internet was literally an infant. Seeing these new things come to fruition literally before its eyes, The Simpsons had the opportunity to watch these new ideas and concepts from a more mature perspective, like a moody teenager watching a newborn baby try to learn to walk, and having the foresight to know what would happen when the baby started to tip forward. Of course, they got things wrong. A lot of things wrong, and it's easy to write off everything that they got wrong just by looking at what ended up coming true. The Simpsons saw the writing on the wall and had the ability to call it out, regardless of if they thought it'd be right or not. It was topical, it was funny, and they did it. And God bless them for doing so. Because despite the fact that they were the first to do it, they showed us how to do it right. Shows like Family Guy seemed to take the concept of The Simpsons' future predicting skills and drove off a cliff with it. The outlandish claims made by Family Guy are almost insulting compared to The Simpsons' versions of doing things. And unfortunately, every hack comedy show post-2000s copies The Family Guy to a T, but somehow worse. Now we have dozens of imitations and intelligence-insulting copycats replicating what was already a botched execution of an idea, instead of replicating the nuanced and clever way of making outlandish claims trying to predict the future with a hint of humor sprinkled in a dash of social commentary. We get fart and dick jokes. Bonus points if it's celebrity related, and extra credits if it's sleeping with said celebrity in any capacity. This isn't me trying to blow smoke up the Simpsons' ass. They also have days, months, years where their jokes and sense of comedy have fallen horrifically flat. But just to give context of how they did it and how they did so incredibly right, there's the fact that we're talking about their predictions 20 years later. Some accurate Simpsons predictions are old enough to drink. Jesus. If there's anything to take away from this video, it's that clever, nuanced, topical, and well thought out writing will always pay off. That's why even today, people flock to books written 50 to hundreds of years ago for how well they've stood the test of time. Compromising your show for cheap gags and quick instant gratification may feel good in the moment. It may even give you praise and get a bunch of articles written. But we live in the age of oversaturated media. Fame is fleeting, more so now than it ever was before. 5 seconds of fame has been reduced to 1. Hell, a nanosecond if you're on TikTok. God, why would you be on TikTok? So why then, in a time where everyone relevant, alive, and current today is fighting for the spotlight and attention, is a show old enough to get and have finished paying off its mortgage effortlessly, able to hold its own and actively be revisited over and over again? The writers of the show seem to have made the greatest prediction of all. They put all their faith and banked on the quality of their writing and their show, hoping it will stand the test of time and be considered one of the greats. I'd say it's safe to assume that that prediction is unequivocally correct. But anyways, this has been 10K Bill, and thanks for watching. Comment down below what you'd like to hear me talk about next. Support us on our Patreon if you like this content and want to see more like it. And of course, make sure you subscribe for all your entertainment-related content.